I don't think so.
No,
Well, we're not gonna rush anything.
no,
Yeah, I think that's wise.
yes.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, we're happy like we are, so.
Yeah.
And my son comes by, so. We eat and sleep and can get outdoors, so. That's what we need.
I don't know. we
Not
seem
too bad a routine.
busy.
Oh, yeah, these Zoom meetings will drive you crazy.
Right.
I don't think you having a problem with those, right?
I don't know.
Whoops, I forgot that one.
We had two.
No, the Zoom meetings I have, they're a lot better than meeting in person, actually.
They sure are.
They're more convenient.
Well, it's not inconvenient. You get more done because you don't have all the side conversations going
Yeah.
on,
Uh-huh.
you
Okay.
know, and you can mute them if you want. Just watch and go.
I couldn't mute my daughter and my son-in-law's mother. No.
But you get up and walk around, so what's different? Yeah,
I do miss the socialization, though. I will say that. I do
I
miss,
do too.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. So tomorrow I'm doing the food pantry thing in front of the Stone store. And
Oh.
Mary Ellen has made her designer masks. So if you bring me 10 food items, you get one of her beautiful designer face masks. They're really nice.
Okay, let me think about
What are
that.
your hours?
I'm gonna go from 10 to 1 for the next 3 Saturdays.
Good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Good idea.
myself and the mayor of Sheffield. You know who the mayor of Sheffield is, right?
Yeah.
No.
Stephen
Oh.
Posey.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Stephen, I'm telling you, he's a great guy. He sits right there with me and everybody toots at him. Everybody loves him. He brings people to the door. So
Okay.
what's
Where
he
does he keep his bicycle?
Don't know who you are.
You know, he rides his bike in the winter, believe it
Oh,
or
I
not.
know it. I know it. He has ridden a bike for as long as I can. And I've known him since they used to play baseball a
Yeah.
long time ago.
He turns 50 in August.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Wow.
so did Todd.
Yeah. Good kid.
Yeah,
Kid.
thanks. Thanks.
Got a kid.
Anybody is younger than I am as a kid.
Yeah.
Hi,
Well,
Dennis.
Well,
Hi,
then you're
Catherine.
all kids to me.
Hey,
Yeah.
Phyllis Dale.
Hey, Phyllis. How are you?
Good. Nice to have a party
Hey,
together.
even got a companion there. That's great.
How's everybody?
We're good. I think Catherine is there someplace.
I am.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hang around there.
8 o'clock.
She's left the room.
I'm eating my dinner, so you're not going to see me.
Oh,
Oh, you can eat on TV. That's polite. We just finished.
we haven't started.
Neither have we.
I just sent Mark out for a pizza.
We might have a slice of pizza later. We had pizza last night.
we-
So we understand we have a new bakery open in Sheffield. How exciting. Has anybody been?
Oh, is it open like now?
Yeah, it is. Well, it's not open right this minute, but it's,
Yes, it is. It's open till 8 o'clock.
yeah, oh, that is right, yeah.
Oh,
Wow.
It is open.
dedication.
Where is it located?
Right where, right in the center of town in the, next to where they're gonna bring a pizza place.
A pizza place.
In the
Yeah,
Bartholomew.
where the barbecue place was.
Oh,
Right.
Barbecue. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Rolly Mince's old store.
There you go.
yeah, that's
All
what I.
right.
I
They used
sure
to have
missed that.
They used to have the best meat.
You know, we when we first moved in Sheffield in '85, we'd go grocery shopping there, for some stuff. Rolly would pack up the bag and bring it out and put it in the car for my wife. It just,
When
and they
did
had
they,
great meats.
Very nice.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are the days.
When was that, Paul?
That was 1985.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He and his wife are still around. They live down the road on the way to right across from the cemetery. Yeah.
Holy and Gloria Mints.
Yeah, Rolly and,
Rolly and Gloria Manson.
Gloria,
Rolly was
right.
Rolly was a butcher,
yep.
really knew how to cut meat. And Gloria, in her high-voiced voice, used to be at the front desk.
I see you, Catherine.
You're off to the side, Catherine.
She had a hand up.
No, but it's exciting. I guess they opened yesterday, as somebody posted. So I'm eager to go and test it out.
Hmm.
Well, definitely check it tomorrow during the food drive. That'll be great.
She's a
Right.
great baker. She's terrific. Her
We
name
gotta
is Lucia.
support our local businesses.
Mm.
So we're trying to decide if everything has bacon in it.
Yeah.
That is a misnomer.
Yeah, because it's spelled bacon, not like bacon that you fry.
B-A-K-I-N, not B-A-C-O-N.
Where is the Sheffield Times? We read it in the Sheffield Times, which is fake news.
So I guess we could get started. I'm waiting for the McKelveys, but I'll keep an eye out for them. They might be just logging on a little bit later. So thank you guys for participating.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Hold on one second. I just want to record it. So this program is called How We Met, and we just wanted to have a fun, kind of light, happy Valentine's program this year. Before I get started, I'm just going to make a few announcements of some of the things that we have going on. Paul mentioned for tomorrow and then next Saturday and Saturday after, we'll be doing the food drive. So definitely spread the word. And if for any reason anybody can't reach us on those Saturdays, they can leave it on the back porch of the Dan Raymond house, and I'll make sure it gets to where it needs to go. The other thing I want to plug is the Old Storm. Oh yeah, very nice. Oh, and yes, if you bring 10 items, you get a free mask. So.
10 items. All right.
Oh, I like that one.
See what I can come up with.
Wait, I want the green one again.
Candy.
You have another one, Bob?
Like that one.
Oh, okay.
Cupcakes?
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Anyway,
Oh, love her masks.
Very nice.
Nice idea.
Yeah, so come on out and support your local community and Paul, who's out there in the cold for the next few weeks.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's going to be in the 20s tomorrow, so hopefully it'll warm up by next weekend.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the next thing I want to plug, so people would go to the Stone Store, but the Stone Store is closed now at least until March, and it's just because a lot of our volunteers, we don't want to put them in harm's way until vaccinations are really, out there. So in the meantime, we do have the Old Stone Store online, so we're trying to push that. We have some select curated items curated by Kathy Tetro. So if you're looking for anything, definitely check out the online store, and that's just called the oldstonestore.com.
Oh, okay.
And the last thing I want to plug in, on April 18th, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a cooking demo. And it's going to be run by Joe Kolodzic. I hope I pronounced it properly.
that's good. You did good.
You got most of the letters.
Yeah, so I think we really haven't done anything like this, definitely over Zoom. We did have Tony do a few cooking demos, but it's going to be cool. We're going to pick a nice historic recipe, and people might even be able to cook along with him as it goes. So that's going to be on April 18th. All right, so without further ado, I guess I'll get started. So how I'm going to start out this program is to tell Doris and Bob Van Duzen's story. Hold on 1 second. I'm just going to share my screen so you can see some photos of them.
Oh,
All right, Van Duzen.
oh my goodness.
So I apologize. Are you seeing just one photo or?
All of them.
Yeah, have 5 of them.
Okay, good. All right, hold on 1 second. I apologize for the technical difficulty. I'm going to do them one at a time. Sorry about this. I apologize. All right.
Oh, you're doing better than we could do.
It's all queued up and then I have the wrong thing. Hold on. All right, share screen. Okay, here we go.
Thanks, Sam.
All right, are we seeing Doris and Bob?
Yes.
With
Wonderful.
balloons.
Yeah, with balloons. So it looks like it must have been a Valentine's Day, probably sort of recently, probably within the last 10 years. So I don't know them that well, but I'm sure many of you probably do know Doris and did know Bob. Doris and Bob Van Dusen, they were married for 66 years. Unfortunately, Bob did pass away a few years ago in 2017. And I was speaking to Doris today, and she said there's not a day that goes by that she doesn't think about him and misses him. And, you know, think about it. They've been married 66 years. How many people can say something like that? Very few people. So when they got married, she was a few months shy of her 16th birthday, and he was 19.
Wow.
Yeah. They were wed in Mississippi in 1952. And the reason how they met is that a year or so earlier, Bob was stationed at the Naval Air Station in Memphis, Tennessee. And he was preparing to ship off to serve overseas in the beginning of the Korean War. I think he signed up a couple of months after the war started. He was only 18, so he, was very eager to serve his country. And so he's in Memphis. He's originally from here in Great Barrington. But he's out there stationed at the naval base. And as Doris tells it, there were 3 Bobs. They were all sailors at the naval base. One Bob was dating her sister, and I'll put it in her point of view. Another, my sister's friend. And my sister set me up on a blind date with the 3rd Bob, and that's Bob Van Dusen. We were all going together to the Cotton Carnival in Memphis. The men rented a car from Hertz to take us there in style, but they arrived 3 hours early. I was still outside in the garden, curlers in my hair, barefoot, and in my gardening clothes. I ran inside to the house to clean up and get ready for the date, hoping he didn't get a good look at me when I was in my gardening clothes. Many years later, Doris asked Bob when he knew he wanted to marry her. And he said, when I saw you coming out of the house at our first date, I knew right away, I'm going to marry that girl. So she must have done a pretty good job of cleaning herself up while she was in there. So at the Cotton Carnival, the sparks flew and the 2 kissed. Now remember, it was 1951. And the Bob who was dating Doris's sister said to her the next day, boy, you work fast. But, things were different back then. Doris said she never dated anyone else after that first date at the Cotton Carnival. And within a year or so, the 2 were married. Let me show you some photos. So here's a photo of them when they were young. This is when they were still dating. And this is in 1951 in the, let me make sure I get this right, in the Shelby Forest in Tennessee. So you can see what a handsome couple they are.
They are.
Go to the next one. So this is them out in California. Because Bob eventually had to go out to California for the service. I guess that was the port he was out of. Doris moved out there with him for a little bit. And so this is after he got back from the service and they're on their cross-country drive back east. And she said that they saw this really cool cactus and they had to get out of the car and take a photo. So you can see what a great couple they are there too.
Yes.
So let's see. The 2 of them, they returned to the Berkshires, where Bob was from. He was from Great Barrington, and they settled down and they raised 4 sons. They worked together for 45 years as real estate agents at the business they started, Van Dusen Realty. In 2017, the Sheffield Times interviewed them on the occasion of their 65th anniversary. So the photo I'm showing right here is actually their 50th anniversary. But in the article in the Sheffield Times, when asked about what the secret to their long marriage was, Bob said, mostly it was compromise. But there was another unique secret that was mentioned in the article. And I'll read it. It's a quote from Bob. For over 50 years, Bob said, we've always played 3 games of Yahtzee and a game of rummy before breakfast. And the article goes on to explain that even when they're away from home, when one or the 2 of them was in the hospital, they would make sure that they kept this personal tradition that they had together every single day. So I think that's really great. It's something we can all learn about, is just making time for one another every day. And that might be the key to a 66-year marriage. So here's them at their 50th anniversary, which is really nice. And she did tell me an interesting story today when she was telling me about the photos, that for this party, she was going to a regular pizza place, and she pulled up and she walked in. All of her sons were there. They were gathering together to plan the 50th anniversary party. So it couldn't be a surprise anymore. They just happened to walk upon them at that moment, and we got to help pick out what the menu would be because of that. And they had it at the Legion. And here's another photo of them.
Can I interject a minute?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You speak of 2017. Up in Great Barrington, we had the Martin Luther King birthday celebration on that third Monday, and they were there, and we had 135 people there, and so I introduced them to the crowd on that day, and they got a standing ovation. And it was really great to have had them. Yep.
Yeah, Paul.
Yeah. So the high school kids back in 2016 with my Veterans History Project interviewed Bob. Bob was reluctant to be interviewed, but Doris kept bugging him. You should get interviewed. And he told the story that you just told. And the one thing that I walked away with, the kids and I walked away with afterwards, was how much they were in love, and what a true love story it was. Right? Really, one of those things that really touches your heart when you hear the story.
Oh, yeah.
Hear them talk about it.
Oh yeah, we had over 100 people there, and they were just blown away.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it is great. Yeah.
Nice. So Bob and Iona, are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
First of all, I just want to say your story is what inspired this program, because it's just so great. So kind of sparked that idea.
Well, I think I'll start.
Okay.
It was my senior year, first semester of my senior year. And my family lived on a farm about 15 minutes from the local college. So I was a day student, and in Tennessee. And it was probably about the first weekend in October. And because the homecoming was coming up at the end of the month, and all the student groups did floats at that time for the parade. So that's where I was that night. And in walks this handsome guy who had lots of curly hair, which he has lost since. And I thought, I've lived in this county, and I think I know every day student there possibly could be, and I don't think he lives here. I thought maybe it was a spy from one of the other groups coming to see what we were doing, because there was a big competition with all the different student groups at the college. So I was pretty close to the door, so he kind of walked my way, and he had a huge bag of popcorn. And so he stopped and started chatting and offered me some popcorn. So I thought, I started to reach in and get a handful. And then I thought, no, I'll take the bag. If I take the bag, he'll stay and talk to me for a while. And he did. It worked. So we were chatting away, and he said, yeah, I just live right here in town. And I actually was born in this county. And, I wasn't sure I believed him, but and then I said, well, where did you live? And he said, well, I lived with my grandparents. And he told me what the name of the street was. And it come to find out, my grandparents lived on the same street. And I remembered as a child going down to the corner where his grandparents were playing with kids. So it probably could have been them.
We're the only kids that could have been there.
And so that's how we started talking. And I'm not sure what he remembers from that night.
Well, as I've told her, I said she didn't make too much of an impression if I didn't remember her.
I said, well, he just was women at that
That's a
point.
good thought.
No, I was living with this was in the 40s. And my dad,
40s when you first moved there.
not when we met, not when we met. No, I was living with my father was in the South Pacific, attached with a bomber squadron out of New Guinea. My mom and dad met. Dad was from Rochester, New York. My mother was from Jefferson County, Tennessee. And where we are in East Tennessee is right next to the Great Smoky Mountains. In fact, from almost every place in the county, you can see the ridge line of the mountains. And there are a lot of, obviously, TVA dams around there, which in the 40s were just being built. So when my mom and dad met in Atlanta, dad was attached to the Army Air Corps. Mom was the post librarian. She'd gotten her library science degree at Emory and actually had been one of the probably million interns that helped Margaret Mitchell do a lot of her research with that. So when dad went off to war, she came back and lived with her parents. In fact, our house, their house, was closer to the center of the college campus than any of the dorms. And my grandfather had been professor there for a long time. So that's where I stayed there until 51. Then we moved to North Alabama until 57. And then the company my father worked for decided that their world headquarters should be in New York City. So we moved from North Alabama and we lived in New Canaan, Connecticut. That's where I went to high school. And then went back south to go to college. And that's where Alan and I got married then.
Where we met.
Where we met.
Get it right.
We got married when I was in grad school. And then I was working on a PhD in chemistry and I wanted to take a year off. So a friend of mine, a roommate from college, was teaching at a boarding school in New England and called me up and said, you know, these boarding schools are like academic summer camps. You get to teach, you get to coach, they feed you, you have a place to live. And so I got an interview with John Godman and we moved up to Sheffield in 1968. And that 1 year turned into 21. We were there for 21 years and then Alan's folks were still alive on the small farm in East Tennessee and wanted us closer. So for the last 18 years before we retired, we were back south to teach, and then we retired back north because we had already had the house in Sheffield. So that's our story.
Well, that
So
was 55 years ago.
Wow.
And our favorite snack is still popcorn.
That's been the enduring quality.
Good choice.
Thank you so much. That was a great story. Phyllis and Dale, are you guys ready? Because the McKelveys, they didn't never logged on, but that's all right. They might log on still. Are you guys ready now? Otherwise, I have another story I can tell you.
Who's ready?
Hello.
Hi, we're ready.
Okay.
Why don't you interject your story, Jennifer?
You guys can go if you're ready. Go ahead.
Because dinner's ready.
Oh,
Okay. Do you want to tell quickly then? You guys could bow out if you wanted, or
no.
good timing.
This
All
is
right.
great. That was wonderful story so far. I don't know how ours will do, but
I don't know how else to do it. Sounds great.
We'll give a little background
all right.
on,
So
on your side. And I'll give background on my side.
So on my side, I was 29 and my father and mother kept saying, stop looking for a husband. And as soon as you stop looking, that's when you'll find somebody special. And in fact, oh, hello. And in fact, I decided, you know what? I don't need to get married. I'm just gonna enjoy life and friends and start getting out a little bit. And I contacted a friend when I saw there was a Sunday singles event. This is in 1991, 30 years ago. And it was not polyester. And so I thought, wow, this could be really fun. And so I got a bunch of people to go, and we went a couple of Sundays, and I met some very nice men, and we would have a couple of dates in between. And the third Sunday, I actually was preparing for a very big test. I was a very young person on the board of a hospital, and I wanted to show them that I deserved to be there. And so I was taking some courses, had a big exam, and I wasn't supposed to go the third night, but I had really studied. And I thought, gosh, I've been having so much fun. What harm would it be to just drive 12 minutes up the street, go out, meet a few people, and come back? And that's when the thing that I remember very distinctly is walking up some stairs and going into this bar. And I looked at my friend who I was with, and I said to her, I've just found him.
Yeah, but you just saw me across the room.
Oh, I saw him across the room.
Yeah.
And I said, I just found him. And I didn't know what that meant, but I thought maybe just met a new person. Anyway.
And you weren't even supposed to be looking.
And I wasn't even supposed to be looking.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. That was a memorable night for me. I was between jobs, and I had a roommate had just moved to Glastonbury, Connecticut. And I don't normally go out on Sundays, but my roommate told me about this great event. Actually, I recall it had an age limit of 35. So yeah, it was not your typical singles event. So I reluctantly said, well, what am I going to do? I'm, kind of nervous about the big new job tomorrow, and I'll just go out and, oblige them. And I vaguely remember catching Phyllis's eye and thinking, oh, okay, I definitely want to talk to her. So yeah, we, did you give me a phone number? I don't know. Somehow we connected. Anyway, I had a few conversations, and the crazy part is I think we had one date in 2 weeks, maybe 2 dates. And
then we're invited to the wedding.
And we had decided in that short time that we were going to get married, but we held off telling anyone because didn't want to shock them.
We were kind of embarrassed.
I think we announced within 2 or 3 weeks, but we really had our minds made up, very quickly. And so then it was a busy few weeks after that. We wound up going to a couple of weddings and meeting family. I met her family at a funeral.
That's when my parents knew he was a keeper.
And this was a Jewish funeral. Everyone was in black except Phyllis. For some reason, wore this bright purple jumpsuit that I thought, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I thought, she was definitely special.
So basically, we met, we fell in love, we were engaged in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And we were married 6 months later. And so this year, March 24th, is 30 years from that date of meeting. And October, we'll celebrate our 30th wedding anniversary.
Wow.
And I think it's also really good to know that we are very, very fortunate. my parents, who are 80, almost 89 and 93, will celebrate their 68th wedding anniversary in June.
Oh,
And ironically, they too were engaged after the first date.
wow.
And then my in-laws, Dale's parents, were married just shy of 67 years. He lost his mom last February. But we feel pretty special and very, very fortunate to have such legacy marriages that we grew up with.
Runs in the family.
It runs in the family. So we feel very lucky.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
yeah.
What was interesting is Phyllis had at least one date,
Oh.
in a concert or a game or something. And I tried to get her to go, but she opted to call the guy and say, well, and she was totally honest. She says, I can't, I'd like to cancel the date because I'm getting married. And,
Good reason.
I never met that guy, but
I'm
yeah, I
sure
guess
he's
don't hear that too often.
Big excuse.
he probably remembers that phone call.
He was very sweet about it. He said, you know what, that's one I can't top. Or I can't.
Right.
So it's been fun.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you. So these are the official people who have signed up, but if anybody else in the audience would like to tell their story, you're definitely welcome to.
Oh,
Nope, I'm not gonna put you on the spot though.
no.
There we go.
Ray will do that for
Okay.
you. We always knew each other, and Ray's daughter actually babysat for my kids. But after his wife died, we had a mutual friend who wanted us to get together. And there was a dinner for a retiring minister. And when I went to the dinner with her, I said, where are we sitting? And she said, well, I'm sitting on the dais, but you're going to sit over there next to Ray Gunn. I said, oh, okay. So I sat at the table, and there was me and every available woman in South County of every age, shape, size. And he turned to me and he said, how are your kids? And I said, they're fine. How are your kids? And he said, they're fine. And we left. That was all he said at the entire evening. And we left, and my friend was a little disheartened. And I just said, oh, well, that's the end of that. But of course it wasn't. So,
Well, she makes that sound pretty simple, but this matchmaking I'm not into, Oh, look at over there, go see her and all that sort of stuff. Well, after my first wife died, I didn't do anything. I was home with my son Wayne, who now helps us out a lot. And I said to him one day, hey Wayne, why don't we rent an RV, pack enough stuff in it, and just drive around the United States? Just go out and drive around. And he was all willing to do it, but we never did it. Something came up and we didn't do it. But we did say, well, we'll hang around and do the things we did. Meantime, I wasn't caught. Now this is, see, she didn't tell you this. I wasn't calling her, but she was calling me, see if I was all right. And see, I had my son. But anyway, we broke down, and we finally tied the knot. My kids kept saying, Dad, when are you and Cora gonna get married? And I said, geez, I'm not going through all that. Not going through all that rigmarole again, that Saturday, all that stuff, get all those people in, buy all that food. That's a waste of money, I thought, of which we didn't have any. So I said, well, we'll see. So one day on one of our vacations, my job down in Canaan at the MAG plant, I was chief chemist and director of quality control. So as the director of quality control, my job was to associate with all the other Pfizer plants in the United States. So we used to have board meetings, directors meetings, and things like that at different sites each year. And we also had, I also was our representative from Pfizer to the what's known as the cultured marble industry. You know, all those things you put in your bathroom. And so we got involved in that. And so we were traveling around all over. And in fact, we were traveling around so much together that everybody, I just told them that Cora was my secretary, assistant. Yeah,
I was his tech.
she was my tech. She took care of the notes. She ran the table while we were at these conferences, and it was the greatest life. And we enjoyed that so much. So everything has been good for us.
I had one sentence. We supply the aggregate. Done. After that, I was done. So
Isn't that great? Oh, yeah.
anyway,
And how many years, Ray?
30,
There we go.
How many?
30,
30.
start to finish.
Yeah, start.
Been married for 15, okay, 20.
That's great.
Very cool. Anyone else?
Pretty good.
I'll tell you a story.
All right.
Move over a little bit. You're on the edge there, Catherine.
What?
Can you
can't
move
move
to
on
your
the edge.
left?
I'm always on the edge.
Come on, Catherine.
So let me tell you, back in about 1967, I was an associate dean at the State University of New York at Albany. And my boss sent me out to Cincinnati to a professional conference to interview people for positions in student services, student life, et cetera, et cetera. And so I went out with one of my associates and we were interviewing people for various positions in student life at the university. And we did our job, and one of the people that we interviewed was named James Miller. And interesting guy. So we came home and we recommended to the big boss that a series of people that we thought she ought to interview for jobs. And one of them they interviewed was this guy named James Miller. And they hired him to be the first residence director of the first co-ed dormitory at the State University. He had four female RAs and 4 male RAs. And I always said that I knew a good thing when I saw it, because within about a year and a half, we were married.
Wow.
And we've been married 53 years.
Wow,
Wow.
Congratulations.
yeah.
It's been an interesting and fun life. We've done a lot of things. We've traveled the world and had a lot of fun. And we're still talking.
That's always.
That's a
good
big
sign.
thing.
That's the best part.
It is, yeah. Mine's a short story. I'll be quick. Mary Ellen and I met in college. She was a year older than me, and we were in the photography club. And somehow her negatives got mixed up with my negatives, and I was at the dorm. And this is a true story. I had like 10 cents to my name back then, and I could have spent the 10 cents on a candy bar because I really liked the candy bar, or call her at her dorm because I kind of had my eye on her,
Oh, boy.
and tell her that I had her negative. So I spent the 10 cents on the phone call, and she came
Oh.
over. And since then, things really developed. I love saying that. That's 40, been together 49 years and married 45 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a good investment, 10 cents.
That's a very good investment. That's
Yeah.
some subline. I've got your negatives.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Come over
she-
and see my negatives.
No, she came over to my dorm and got them, and I walked her back to her dorm, and
Ah,
That's literally how we
That's
met.
just history.
Yeah,
Got together.
Which school was that?
Westfield.
Oh,
Yeah,
just over the hill there.
just over the hill. Yeah, yeah,
I've done a lot of games over there at Westfield.
yeah. Yeah, so as I'm listening to everybody, we have a lot of years of marriage and relationships between just us sitting here.
That's
Really remarkable.
hundreds.
Yeah,
Lots of good history.
yeah,
Yeah.
good history. Nice to be able to share it and let
Yeah.
other folks know. And probably all of our listening to everybody, I bet all of our parents were married a number of years as well. I was just listening to what you said, and someone
Yeah.
mentioned we had good role models,
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I think so.
Right over 50 years.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. These are all so great. I really appreciate you telling them. I'll tell mine really quickly. It's not a how we met, but a how we almost didn't meet.
Ooh.
And this is sort of a sign of the times. Mark and I met online dating, like a lot of people. I moved up here from the city, so I didn't really know that many people around here. And we were emailing back and forth before we actually talked on the phone. And I think I forgot to press the send button. But for a few days, I was saying, I thought we had a connection. Why hasn't he gotten back to me? And I was blaming it all on him. And then I had the courage to go and check. And I noticed that I never sent the send button. And he thought the same thing on the other end. He said, I thought we were really getting along. And, you were the first person I liked in a long time. And I never heard from you.
That's nice.
So thankfully, I was able to realize it. And that's about, I think, about 6 years now. So not as long as you guys, but we have some time to go.
A
Right.
good start.
Yeah, it's a good start. Before I end, I have one more story from one of our members. Actually, two of our members. And I'm going to read it out loud. It's a really great story written in his point of view. So I'm just going to read it how he wrote it. And let me put a photo of them. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. So this story is Dick Goodwin and Nat Payton. I'm not sure if you might know them.
Dick and Nat, that's great.
So Dick made a really nice collage right here, some photos of them. So let me show that to you.
No, they're not on. They're not on.
There we go. You see their photos?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
All right. So I'm going to read it. I probably won't do it with enough gusto, but I'll do the best I can. All right. So it was a late, hot summer afternoon, July 15th, 1960, when we both boarded the Jerome Avenue subway line across the street from the Grand Central Station. We each worked in separate buildings on opposite corners of Park Avenue and 42nd Street. I was taking a couple of classes towards finishing my master's degree in the morning and came to work about 11 a.m. at the CPA office. Nat worked for C. Tennant & Sons, who trafficked in metals, particularly copper. During the school season, I was a teacher of high school English, also supervised the school newspaper, directed theater shows, played the organ in church on Sundays, and conducted both high school and church choirs. Why I believe that God, fate, or some destiny played a hand in this day's action, well, neither of us had ever used the Jerome Avenue line before. He was headed to his aunt's home to pick up something she had sewn for his mother. I was in my second year in the Big Apple after 18 years on an Indiana farm, then 4 years at Valparaiso University nearby in the Hoosier State. Once on board the train, I tried to concentrate on my paperback book, but I had the feeling that eyes were checking me out. Exclamation point. I looked up to see a pair of dark brown, almost black orbs focused on my being, but he glanced quickly away as I peered in that direction. The shameless hussy had scribbled a note before leaving the subway car. Nat, call me, with a phone number. A fellow Hoosier lived with me in the studio apartment in this Grand Concourse building. I yelled at Joe to retrieve any music with a Spanish beat. I needed some good background music for my important call. He was able to come up with Edie Gourmet and the Los Panchos, which served the Latino rhythm nicely. We made a date to meet at the Poe Cozy Nook that night for drinks, and the rest, as they say, is history. And here we are in the Berkshires 60 years later. So
Wow.
another long,
Oh, my gosh, another
Yep.
long-lasting
Wow.
relationship.
some really nice photos of them.
Yes,
They're two great guys,
yeah.
Really are.
and they were extraordinarily active in Kiwanis for many, many years. Kind of kept it glued
Uh-huh.
together.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, this was a nice Valentine's program.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
guys. And this is recorded. I'll put it up on our website. And if other people come back with some photos or anything, I'm going to put it up on our website too with their stories. So
Okay.
if anybody missed
One
it
more-
or you want a family to hear, they can get it right on our
One more
website
thing.
tomorrow.
One
Yeah,
more thing.
yeah, Ray. Yeah,
Going back to when I was working, I was the this is for Paul especially. I was a representative for my plant at conventions and other conferences that we had throughout the United States. And it was my duty to set up the recreational projects that the people that came would participate in. And guess what the favorite one was? I know you wouldn't have any idea probably. We always set up a golf tournament. Can you hear me? We
yep.
set up a golf tournament, and I had no problem in getting prizes from Pfizer at that time. You know, getting something that was half decent. So when we started having the things with the Historical Society, it just seemed to fall right in line with some of the stuff that we had been doing. So great time. A lot of people enjoyed it.
And we still will, Ray. I hope to have the golf tournament in June. We'll have to keep our fingers crossed.
Well, we'll see. I'd have to do a lot of work out. Oh, boy.
Thank you guys again so much.
Thank you,
and
Jen.
Thanks a lot.
See you guys around. Bye now.
Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's
Happy
Day.
Valentine's Day.